Well, our show is about business and empowering businesses. And I've worked with yourselves for quite a while now. And there is a synergy for local businesses and the reserve forces. So if we start with Colonel Maybury, who's the chief executive of the West Midland Reserve Forces. Sir, could you please just give the audience a brief background about yourself and what the Reserve Forces is all about?
Certainly. I mean, would you like me to talk a little bit about what the Reserve Forces and Cadets Association does first?
Please, if you could.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're one of the West Midlands Reserve Forces and Cadets Association is one of 13 RFCAs in the UK, and the area that we cover is the wider West Midlands area, so Birmingham and the county of West Midlands, and then Shropshire, Staffordshire, Warwickshire, Worcestershire, and Herefordshire, and we're separate from the MOD and the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, but we are funded by them.
Okay.
And I've got a staff of about 60 people, and we have a voluntary membership of about 100 people. And those volunteer members, some of them are serving or ex-serving military staff and personnel, and the rest come from all sectors of society, local authorities, the education sector, employers, employer organisations, and so on. And the job of our association is really twofold. First of all, we look after all of the reserve and cadet estates across the West Midlands. So that's about 400 buildings and on 170 sites. So some of those buildings are really sort of simple, like vet huts, and others are a lot more complicated, like, for example, an Army Reserve Centre or a Navy Reserve Centre. So that's the first thing we do, is look after the estate. The second thing that we do, which is really why we're here this morning, is engagement. We are funded to go out and do engagement, and that is really about advocating for the reserves and the cadets and the wider armed forces family as well. And we speak to all sorts of people, including employers. And really, what we're about doing there is promoting the benefits of service in the reserves, in the tri-service reserves, and indeed in any of the cadet forces, particularly to try and persuade employers that it's a good idea to support their people into the reserves, or perhaps to employ ex-cadets, or to support their people to become cadet force adult volunteers. And then the third thing that we do is support the MOD's cadet and youth programme, and in particular, about half of my full-time staff are based out of the Army Cadet Force headquarters all around the West Midlands, and they provide all the logistic and administrative staff there, and they keep those Army Cadet Forces ticking over day to day. The idea being that they take all the admin burden off of the volunteer cadet force adult volunteers, the instructors, so that they can concentrate on delivering training to the cadets.
Fantastic. So what does it mean to be a reservist as opposed to a full-time Army personnel?
Yeah, so reservists are they're all volunteers. They are part-time soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women, and yeah, most of them have got full-time sort of professional jobs as civilians, but as reservists, they've sort of signed up to do this extra thing as well, and typically they will give up perhaps 2 evenings a month, maybe a weekend every other month, and then perhaps 2 weeks every year to go with their unit on annual camp or on deployment or on exercise somewhere. They are, they're trained to the same standard as the regular forces. The forces now, look at the reserves and the regulars as one force. The whole force is what they is what they like to call it. And if you look at any operations or any major training exercise anywhere around the world, that will involve a mix of regular and reserve force personnel. And in fact, if you look most recently at what's happened in the COVID crisis in the UK, where the armed forces were providing a measure of help to the National Health Service, local authorities, and so on. Within that armed forces mix, that package that was supporting the civil authorities. There were about 3,000 reservists mobilised as part of that.